Hey everybody, welcome to Superman Crypto, your host Superman in the house. Man, we've got a great video. I pretty much called it perfectly yesterday from the looks of it, so we're going to get into that and walk through that on Xen. Xen obviously rocking up there. I said after my show that it looks like the market wanted to go up to 10,000. It did do that and was up there for a little bit, so we're going to talk about that and get on to all the great news. The ecosystem for Xen is just getting bigger and bigger. Of course, Fenix is going to launch. We're going to look at the launch dates, look at all the updates from Jack, so stay tuned, and all the big burn for Xen. It's getting exciting. Obviously, we're in a high gas environment on Ethereum in particular, and so we're going to talk about that too. So let's get into it. Here it is on the daily on Xen, and of course, yesterday we got up to 10,020. Yes, we did. We hit it. Amazing. We moved a zero down to 4 zeros. We're back at 5 zeros. We're at 7,397, so basically 7,400. A nice little bounce back here. Now, yesterday we got as low as 6,246. So let's have a look at the hourly just before we do the marks there. So we really ramped up there, came back down. We dipped down here for an hour about 3 hours ago, down to 6,248, but bounced all the way back to 7,400. Pretty nice there with 5 zeros in front. So that's pretty much it on there. Looking at the 24-hour, we're down 19.4%. We've got 925 buys. 57% of the trades are buys here on the biggest pair. We've got $2.3 million in liquidity, looking nice. The volume here, 6.6 million sell, 5.8 million buy, so 54% of the sell volume. But the last couple of hours, we've picked it up. We've picked up the pace. So that is the highlights there. Let's have a look at the daily. That's the hourly chart. Let's have a look at the daily. That's the daily there off the bottom. Let's pulling up the old Fibonacci, which I pulled up yesterday, if you recall. We're going to take it from the 21st at the bottom there, and we're going to take it right up to the very top of the price call there, up to 10. Let me make sure I'm pretty accurate there. So about there, that's good enough. So I talked about the fact that we could, on the down scenario, we could get, pullback would be back down here. Normal charts, you'd probably see after a big ramp up. You got to remember that we've had a pretty amazing return from the bottom. We've got as high as 1,281%, so 13.8x, which is pretty amazing. That was the title of my video yesterday, was 13x. And of course, we're back, still up at the moment, still up 924%, so 10.2x up at the moment still. So incredible. Now, that being said, of course, we've got some amazing things happening in the Xen profile, and it is doing a lot of cool stuff. Now, in terms of the pullback scenario, we had 78.6 would have pulled us back down to 2,700. 61.8 would have got to 4,268. The price went up slightly higher after, of course, hitting that 10,000 after when I was talking about it. But the 38.2, I said, it's a good chance we could bounce off the 38.2 because of all the bullishness with the ecosystem and the burning. The only thing limiting that was the high gas prices and the modest burn at the time. That did pick up a little bit. We're going to talk about that on the DBZ in particular. But here at 6,458, we pretty much bounced off that. That seemed like the most likely scenario. So well done there. And we've bounced off that. So looking pretty good. Now, obviously, it's going to depend on news and things like that, consolidation, rather than selling off all the way back down to, say, 61.8, which would be 4,200. So that was kind of the downside. Now, we do have a lot of fundamental supply coming in at the moment. And so we're going to talk about that. That would be to the downside, but we have ecosystem bullish news to the upside. So we're probably going to get less down, but just remember that there's always potential to go down further. That being said, the fundamentals are probably going to net out to the upside. We're going to talk about that. So that is the chart at the moment. Pretty good call, and the price did get to 10,000. So pretty nice on my part. And of course, as you guys know, calling this run up pretty well also. Let's move on to DXN. DXN at $64. That's holding up as well. Yesterday, it got up to 61. Got up to 72, a low of 61, so it's like a $10 range. At the moment, it's near the bottom of that range, 64, but holding up pretty well, as you can see in this trading range over the last couple of days. Down 7%, 110 buy trades, 51% buy trades, and 51% volume as well. So just slightly ahead on the volume there, holding up pretty well, I think. Exxon at the moment is on the lower side as well. Yesterday got down to 4,226, currently at 5,000. But yesterday got the high of 7,377. Now the liquidity is relatively small in this, right? 101,000, so you can get a lot more volatility, and that's just ticking away there as well. Now, obviously, some part of the news going ahead is that DXN being burned for X1 chain with the XN and XN expected to be launched in 2023 as opposed to the X1 chain in 2024. That's sort of a longer term project. Makes a lot of sense. You want to get a lot of that inflation out first, build the ecosystem, and get that X1 chain out later on. That makes a lot of sense to me. So that is kind of cool there. Let's jump over to the Xen dashboard, have a look at the supply. So now we're getting into the fundamentals. Now, obviously, we've moved back over 8.8 trillion, and the stakes have gone down from over 1.5 trillion down to 147. So stakes are coming out, getting into liquid supply. So that's one source. The other source, of course, is the new mints. So new mints. So we're going to have a look down at the bottom here. New mints. Now, new mints are low over this period, right? We know that. So let's go to the 30-day on the new mints. We know that we've had a week of very low mints here. We've still got one more day coming out of 44 billion. And we've had, about 215, 220 billion coming out of mints over the last 4 days, 5 days, including the 21st here, showing up here. And then we've got relatively soft weekends, but of course we need $100 billion burn days to really eat through a lot of this stuff. But 50 billion is a pretty decent day as well. But 100 billion to get through these weekend ones quite nicely. Next week, of course, we've got pretty low burns as well. We've got that all the way going through, I would say, right through to the 13th of May. That being said, a couple of weekend candles are pretty decent. On the 7th there, we've got 163 billion. We've got 141 billion there on the 30th of April. So just take that into account. You have to sort of eat through that. Lower gwei in the weekends will help with that. If the gwei is lower, then more burning is likely to happen. More supply around, but more burning as well. It's kind of got those catalysts. And then before we get to these two big candles out here, which is 328 billion on the 14th of May and the 18th of May. Now, looking out 90 days, you can see those two candles that we just talked about are the last two big candles. After that, we've got pretty low mints all the way through. Apart from the weekends, we've got pretty low mints during the weeks up to this big candle on the 16th of July. So it's some way off there. Pretty bullish. Now, let's keep this up here because we're going to talk about that in a second with the future mints. I'm going to ignore the future supply mints here, 87 trillion. We're not worried about that at this stage. And of course, let's go into the supply numbers today. So this is on the 19th. So we're missing the 20th. Remember, we've got the 21st. We're looking at the 19th. So 19th here, we've got new stake down 52 billion. So stakes coming out into the liquid supply. We've got burn though 48.8 billion. As I said to you, 50 billion will tick us along quite nicely during the week. But through the weekends, you want like 100 billion burn sort of to get rid of all that new mints. That's kind of the logic there. And that helps support higher prices. It doesn't make higher prices inevitable because people can always sell down liquid Xen. But you get my point there. That does help with the upside. So new liquidity at 49.8 billion. So we're up there again. So 2 days where liquidity has gone up. So that's sort of been, but the price has still managed to rally with the excitement of the ecosystem. 59.89% of all Xen is liquid, so still under 60%, but just stalled in here, just under 60% here, between 59 and 60%. And we need new protocols, and we're going to talk about the Fenix protocol, and of course Xen Knights, which is still on as well. We're in the final day of Xen Knights, so we've got two protocols, and we've got new protocols popping up as well. So we're going to talk about that. So that is kind of cool. We keep watching that number. We want that to go ahead towards 50%. That's our next target. We've got total burns at 4.1 trillion almost. We've got stake there just under 1.5 trillion, and we're still sitting around 2.4 on the penalties. That's a Xen that never makes it to market. So that's pretty cool. I think that's it. You can see that we've had a massive impact on Xen price. And of course, the cost to mint a new rank up to $13, and that was all the way down to $2.50. So just take into account, if you're minting these high gwei prices, you're paying quite a bit more to get your entry into minting. Let's go to the new mints coming up just before we jump over to DBZen, which is pretty awesome. Now, moving at a decent pace because there's a lot to cover, right? And I don't want the video to be too long, so I hope you bear with me there. So we had 11,230 new growth in rank there on Ethereum, which is not a lot, right? Because the gas prices have been so high. Look at this 56 gwei. You can see that's quite high at the moment. We're up to over 11 million on the global rank, just slowed down with the higher gas prices. And that's all certainly making a mark there. See, no one is actually minting at the moment. Although we've had a lot of people mint in the 30s and 40 gwei. It's been surprising to see some of the Xen mints, but definitely up at this high level. Not going to get so many mints. Let's jump over to DBZen and have a look at how that's been burning. That's our main burner at the moment. We've got Xen NFTs, DBZen, obviously the big burner. And at the moment, we've got Xen Knights on. Those are sort of our three protocols. There's a few other smaller projects around, but those are the big ones. Current cycle, before we get to current cycle, let's look at yesterday's results. So DBZ, 45.46 billion was the burn there on the 18th. So that's the results. And at the moment, we're just kicking off at 5.4 billion at the moment on the current cycle. So that cycle's got another 12 hours and 25 minutes to go, so over half a day. That's actually a good start here, actually. It's actually better than yesterday's start. So we'll see where we go from there. The other thing, of course, we're on day 29 now of DBZ. So we're almost up at the month. If you're going to have a 30-day month, we're almost up at the month there. One more day to go. Pretty incredible burn. So in 28 days, we've had 2.259 trillion burned through DBZ. Amazing, eh? And of course, the Ethereum there, 2037 Ethereum go through the protocol there. Pretty impressive. Let's go to the current entries on the current cycle. We've got 2 billion as the top at the moment. They have all in. Look at this: 50 gwei, 50 gwei, 83 gwei, 100 gwei. These are insane. I really would avoid trying to get in on such high gwei. I know that it's very difficult at the moment, but man, these are particularly high gwei. They're not particularly efficient in my view. Obviously, if the gwei goes higher, then yeah, but really is pretty high gwei. Now, 25,000 for this top one. 15,000 for the Xen burn, so that's 49,000 investment there, and of course they're currently 227,000 in reward. But of course, people are going to come in to close that arbitrage, that reward down. So that's pretty interesting. Look at this. So this one here came in with 250 million burns in. This one had 250 million burn. But look at the difference between the gwei, 100 gwei, 65 gwei, and look at the transaction fees it cost them to enter, 5,500 versus 2,000. So this one is inefficient. It's a very cost inefficient there. And so, yeah, just take that into account. Try and get your low gwei as possible. All right. So that's pretty much it. Let's jump over to the Xlon dashboard quickly, just to have a look at. So DXN gets burned and you get to issue Xlon. So that's kind of the play there. And we can see that's 10.6% of all DXN has been burned through Xlon so far, out of 272 DXN that's in market now. So that's very important to remember. All right, let's jump over to the Xen Knights. This is the third protocol. Obviously, Xen NFTs, people can burn to mint those for the APXs. And of course, the DBZ, we just covered that. So moving on to Xen Knights is on at the moment, 3-day auction. We've got 15 hours and 24 minutes to go. Let's do a refresh. Make sure we've got the latest and greatest. 13.3 billion has been deposited in this. Yesterday, I think we were at 4 billion. So we jumped from 4 billion to 13.3. I said to you that 100 billion would be pretty good. That's like a billion average on each one of them. So I think that'd be a pretty good result. Now, I suspect that most of the bids will come in the last couple of hours, in particular the last hour, last 20 minutes. Probably the last hour is probably when we see most of the bids. I've seen a lot of auctions. That's probably what's going to happen. So 15 hours and 23 minutes to go. Yesterday, I think we had this one here was the sort of benchmark 1.4. We've had 1.411 billion come in, and they're slowly rising. So let's see what the minimum was. I think the minimum was about 10 million yesterday, if I remember rightly. We've still got 13, so 13 million is the lowest, but this is all going to change pretty radically, I imagine. Now, to bid, of course, you have to connect your wallet up to the Xen.network and click on Knights, and then you can make a bid in Xen. But you must have a taproot address from Bitcoin, so you can see BC1P. That's what you need in front of your address, BC1P. Remember the P, very important there. And of course, you can get a Sparrow wallet or Ordinal's wallet, anything that's got a taproot address. Ordinal wallet's probably easier to set up. Taproot, the Sparrow wallet is a bit more like old school, more functionality, but the old school. So yeah, you've got those options. So that's pretty much it. You just place a new bid. It's pretty easy. You can increase your bid, of course, just by hitting the plus sign and increasing your bid, and so forth. So that is looking pretty good. 13.3 billion, not bad at the moment. Let's see whether we get that 100 billion target. Like I said, it's going to be interesting. Now, no one really knows, but we're trying to just, say a billion per Xen NFT or inscriptions here. Sorry, Xen Knights, I should say. That is the bid. So we'll keep watching that. 15 hours to go, not far. Now let's get into all the news. We've got Jack Levin's been pretty busy on the news, and of course he's got some humor here. Someone put this up: Levin's law, first discovered by Professor Lancelot. It's a bit of a funny thing. There's a hypothetical economic principle that suggests that even if an investment drops by 99.999%, the forever down coin, it can still be profitable for investors. He got like that, so it's pretty funny. X1 chain blockchain will focus on maximizing its decentralization. That's pretty cool. We're looking forward to X1 chain. Xen network users are up like amazing. So this is on Xen network. So this is this website here. And of course, look at the active users up amazing in the last month to the 18th. 142,000 users, new users 103,000. Beautiful. Look at that. Real rocketing there. So massive growth in the ecosystem. Might spread that around. That's pretty neat. We had a cool interview. Fenix launch dates released. That was 10 hours ago with Sun Zhenzu and Joe Blau, the creator, founder there. So we're going to talk about that in a second. We've got Jack Levin, my DXN garage. So far, 100% in principal gains, 35% in yield. That's pretty funny. Participated with the Zen burn from day one, continued to DCA. That's pretty cool. We had Zen Crypto here. Exciting last 24 hours in Xen Knights. So we talked about that. Excuse me. So that's going pretty well. So people bidding on those. What else we got here? We're going to jump through some of that. Someone scored a Centurion for 0.4 ETH and they sell for a 1 ETH. So some people can pick up some real nice deals with the Zen NFTs on OpenSea and places. So definitely pretty good there. And of course, they lowered the fee, didn't they? Excuse me. Just got a little dry throat there. Jack Levin says, to all fudders out there, do you ever mint? Yeah, it's true. Centurion minted 3 months ago, looking profitable. I was writing a tweet saying Pulse Chain won't ever launch, but delete it before I hit the tweet button. If it launches, then we'll be on it and it will make it better. So that's kind of good news. Did you know that DBZN daily yield APY is 400% in ETH? Probably won't last, but amazing for early adopters. That's true. So it's pretty amazing. What you see why people are going into DBZN as well with that high yield. Share your reasons why you are in Zen ecosystem 2 hours ago. That was pretty cool. So I'll try and maybe leave that in the link. Just go to Jack Levin's. You can check that out. My reason, we are all Satoshi. That's pretty cool. So some really nice updates from Jack Levin. 46 minutes ago, Fenix is coming at the end of the month and probably will burn a lot of Zen. Some say it's better than Hex, of course. He likes to garner the excitement from the controversies. And it's got all the different principles there that it's going to have. Pretty cool. What else we got there? We got some update there. Fenix getting ready to launch. Now, I covered that yesterday's video. That was between Zhenzu and Joe Blau. And then he's got this tweet here. DXN has rallied from $3 to $7 under a month. Why do you think it happened? And he's got a little poll there, so you can definitely hit that out as well. Limited supply. Gas too high to mint DXN. ETH yield is excellent. Zen burn gives X1 airdrops. Well, I think it's probably a bit of all above, right? So, but it's got what do you think happened? I'm going to go ETH yield. Yeah, there we are. So that's the two there that seem to be most popular out of that. So that's pretty cool. Let's jump over to Fenix, though. That's about to launch later on the month. Another bullish, super bullish DAT for Zen. And of course, we've got a quick link to the audit 10 hours ago from Joe Blau, the founder. So that audit, we have covered that on this channel a couple of days in a row now. But this is the big deal here. So if you wanted to find the actual launch dates for Fenix, which is a hybrid staking protocol, it's kind of a combination between some various protocols. The number one question I get about Fenix protocol, when, sir? And of course, here are the dates. So Polygon is the 29th of April. So that's coming up. So if we have a look on our dashboard for future mints, just give you an idea. So let's go to 30 days. So what do we got here? We've got April the 29th. That would be in here. What do we got there? The Ethereum, May the 13th. So obviously we've been focused on Ethereum here. May the 13th, 2023. So that is coming up here on this date here. So this date here, right, that's really perfect because we've got these big 2 candles coming out. Perfect timing, perfect timing. So that will really help to eat those 2 big candles that I talked about. 328 billion Zen on both of them. Beautiful. And after that, we've got a big, nice open window. So perfect timing for the launch there. Well done, Joe Blau. Binance Smart Chain, 20th of May. Avalanche, Ethereum, and all the other chains, 27th of May. So if you're on any of these others, 27th of May on that. So pretty bullish on that. I'm going to post that. Bam. Well done to Joe Blau, by the way. Like a boss, taking really good care with the code audits and, of course, getting it up. Perfect timing as well. So fantastic. So that's pretty cool. Just going to go through any of these other updates of here. Let's have a look here. 52 minutes ago, we put together a beginner and advanced visual explainer on how Fenix protocol works. You can download at brand.fenix, FYI. I'm going to post the link in the video description, but you can get to that as well. So that is, you can either freeze the video or so forth. That goes to the two how-tos, so beginners and intermediate there as well on how Fenix will work. So pretty awesome there. I'm going to spread that around as well. What else we got there? I think we're wrapping up there. That's pretty awesome. The light paper as well. If you haven't read it, you can read the more details with the light paper. So that's pretty much it, folks. Let's go back to Xen. Xen at the moment, it's 7270, looking pretty strong. Super bullish in the months ahead. It's going to be pretty cool. Pretty excited about April, June, July. Looking very good indeed. I hope you enjoyed that. Feel free to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. And, of course, get in your comments. I love your comments. I'll respond to those. And I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.